Campaigners have called for cyclists not to be automatically given fines if police see them riding on pavements. It's currently illegal, but officers are allowed to use their discretion when issuing tickets. The safety group Stop Killing Cyclists says it's worried a recent clampdown means more people are being fined, even when riding on the pavement is the safest thing to do. Rags Martel explains.
Cycling can mean playing with your life. Hey! London roads so dangerous that safety is found on pavements, but riding on them is illegal.
Do you realise you just broke the law? You were cycling on the pavement.
Road safety is the most important thing, and there's trucks and cars, and it needs to be safe.
Vauxhall Cross or Vauxhall Bridge.
1,000 people have been fined for riding on the pavement since the end of November. It's part of a police operation to make streets safer, after 6 cyclists were killed in 13 days. But cycling campaigners believe this is unfair and that the letter of the law allows for some discretion.
Absolutely. What we want the police is to issue fines for people who are causing danger. If the cyclist is doing something stupid, fine. Ministerial guidance says that discretion must be used. If a cyclist is cycling respectfully to save their life from dangerous roads, then it is okay to cycle on the pavement.
Part of the problem is the confusing nature of some cycle lanes. This one in Vauxhall stops abruptly, and you have a choice to join a dangerous road legally or to ride on the pavement illegally.
There's just not enough room on that corner to go round, so if you don't want to die, I think you should hop on the pavement here and avoid that bend.
Do you think it's fair that police issue fines for going on the pavement, at this junction?
Not at all.
Now the government has reissued its official guidance for discretion on pavement cycling fines. In a statement, the Metropolitan Police told us cycling on the pavements can pose a threat to pedestrians. Issuing fixed penalty notices for this offence has been part of an overall programme to encourage mutual respect and consideration among different road user groups through law enforcement. Should they be allowed to go on the pavement?
Nah, they shouldn't.
Why
I don't
not?
think so. Because it creates, I guess, a danger for people on the road, on the sidewalks.
No, not really.
Why not?
Quite annoying. Quite a hazard, get in your way, injury, generally a little bit irritating.
Sharing roads has been difficult for cyclists, but they might not be welcome on pavements either. Rags Martel, ITV News.
With me to talk about this more is Tony Armstrong from Living Streets, who campaign for pedestrian safety, and Donica McCarthy, who you saw in Rags' reports there. Tony, first off to you, we heard from the Met there, we heard the cyclists' point of view, a couple of pedestrians, but what do you say for the pedestrian point of view?
Well, we think cycle safety is a really big issue. I cycle every day in London, I know how fearful it can be, but we shouldn't solve that problem by creating unease, uncertainty and perhaps intimidation for pedestrians. We should actually think about motorised traffic and how to make our streets safer for both cyclists and pedestrians.
OK, Donica, what do you say to that?
We agree completely. In London, the expenditure on cycling safety by the Mayor of London and the London boroughs is abysmal. So basically, quite often, parents on the way to school have no choice in a really busy, dangerous road, if they want to look after their child's safety, to cycle on an empty pavement. We think the advice by the Minister today is common sense and reasonable.
But this is London. Our streets are not often empty, our pavements, they're often quite busy, and pedestrians, rightly so, say, well, we don't necessarily want cyclists coming up onto the pavement all the time. What about our safety?
We completely support that a busy pavement is not a place for cyclists. But many pavements in London, in the back streets and major roads, rather than the retail roads, are actually empty. And for elderly cyclists, it can make sense for them occasionally to be on the pavement.
OK, well, we've asked our viewers whether they think this is a good idea. Let's hear from a few of them. Lynn Marmo from Holdsworth thinks cyclists want to be pedestrians and motorists all at once. They want to have their cake and eat it too. Jazz Phillips said people ride mobility scooters on pavement, so what's the problem as long as they are careful? Gary Stephen White contacted us on Twitter. He says cyclists on the pavement would be a ridiculous idea with pedestrian safety put in question. And Sharon Irvine said on Facebook, I have a condition that means I have problems with spatial awareness, balance, coordination and judging speeds and distances. I find it difficult enough to navigate crossing roads, and pavements are my safe space. Donica, are cyclists expecting the best of both worlds here?
No, what we're actually saying is that we want proportionate policing. At the moment, over 10,000 cyclists and pedestrians have been killed or seriously injured on London's roads over the last 10 years. We need action from the Mayor and the boroughs to tackle this issue so there isn't conflict between cyclists and pedestrians. Any city in Europe that has implemented safe cycling infrastructure and investment, it makes it vastly safer for pedestrians. We're on the same side.
So you're on the same side, apparently. Would you agree with that? So are you on the same side? There are pedestrians who think this is a terrible idea?
On 99% of the issues, we are completely agreed with most cycling groups. You know, we want slower speeds, we want better street design that actually prioritises cyclists on the carriageway and leaves the pedestrian space safe on our pavements. And you know, 11 million people across the country have long-term disabilities, and often they tell us, you know, people write to us all the time telling us that it's not so much that they've been knocked over by a cycle on the pavement, it's that they feel intimidated, and actually some of them are restricting the way they travel around their neighbourhood because of that. Well,
it's clearly an issue that both sides will have to work out and reach a compromise, hopefully. Tony, thank you. Donica, thank you for joining us this evening.